This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
The Forest Ramble mini-match report.
Tonight's post-match interview saw the return of angry Sabri for the first time since the Birmingham match. And rightly so. Forest were second best for a large chunk of the match, and bearing in mind that they took the lead halfway through the first half, you really needed to be putting sides like Middlesbrough to the sword. I mean, you could see after about 80 minutes that Middlesbrough were really nervous. They didn't know what to do, and it was no surprise that they crumbled, although we'll come back to Graben's goal a little bit later. What was really interesting is that it was very obvious that we missed Samba So, but we also missed Thiago Silva. The shape and the kind of balance in midfield just wasn't there, and the lack of balance in midfield was also exposing the defence. Brice Samba had his worst game in goal for Forest that I've seen anyway, and really I think he should have done better with both the Middlesbrough goals. He'd had a bit of a howler already when he'd come for a cross and then more or less dropped it, and Tobias Figueiredo had to clear off the line. And it kind of seemed to, defenders aren't very confident when their goalkeeper's not looking that strong. Luckily for us, Middlesbrough weren't that good, because Rudiger Stead really should have put the game to bed early in the second half when he had a free header but decided to head it backwards. As for the equalising goal, well, it's really nice to see that João Carvalho really had an impact on the game. He gave us some forward impetus that had been sorely lacking. And also, John Bostock, coming on instead of Ryan Yates, offered something that wasn't there before. Again, just grabbing hold of the ball and being able to bring it forward, adding a level of control and composure that had been missing. And when the goal came, it was a Carvalho corner, a clever training ground routine. Lolly's volley went straight down and then up again, but then Graben it showed his experience against an inexperienced keeper. He got himself between the ball and the goalkeeper, and yes, he did use his body, but then the touch he got, well, it's just a lovely little finish. Unfortunately, the first of the three subs once again flattered to deceive, and Diakabi had two efforts which really should have done better. In fairness, one of them he didn't even make contact with. And that led to angry Sabri after the match, complaining that the team showed a lack of all the things that made them good. They didn't have the right composure, they didn't have the right mindset. It wasn't nerves from Forest, it was just not quite being good enough. And there, in a nutshell, is why Forest aren't going to challenge for the top two.
Hi everyone, this is Clint.
This is Ross.
This is Joel.
This is Cutter.
This is Tony.
From 3 Beers In.
A proud member of Big Heads Media Network.
Each episode we review local Austin craft beer and talk about
Clove and Bananas.
References I don't get. And Academy Award winner Matthew McConaughey.
So tune in,
crack open a beer,
and hang out with us.
Find us on bigheadsmedia.com, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify,
or on 3beersinpodcast.com.
this is the podcast.